So I just got done seeing some wild shit, man. I just went through the deepest fucking comment thread I have ever seen. At this moment, 959 fucking comments, right? So, and it's on K28.org. See, and this is one of those things where I'm broadening my horizons a little bit, so I'm getting exposed to a little bit more shit that I wouldn't, because I've stayed out of the Facebook groups that aren't local. One of the reasons is because I get mad fucking frustrated when I'm trying to look for shit and I see a great deal and I'm like, fuck yeah, let me go grab that, and it's like in Maryland or some shit like that. I'm like, nah, I don't like that. I don't trust anybody to buy off of and ship and deal with that unless it's somebody I know. So yeah. But anyway, so there's a guy with a really expensive built or all-wheel drive Integra, and apparently he's pissed off about his situation with Humble Performance. Now, I can see discrepancies on both sides, but I'm not going to comment on that, because that's not what I'm. It's just, of course, seeing this is all reading through this shit has definitely triggered in my response here to this. But I'm not. My response to that isn't so much about what my opinion is on that whole situation. I feel for both sides. Humble, I feel for a little bit more than the other side, even though, like, okay, so I'm not going to get into that. I don't care. That's not so important. What's important for me is, like, I'm talking, as I'm reading through this shit, I'm looking, my wife is kind of like got her legs on my shoulder because we're laying down on the couch in the room, and I'm just like, man, dude, this is the craziness. And it got me thinking, about my situation, personally, me being small, I'm just me. I am the employee, the manager, and the owner. And, this is one of those things, like definitely a learning situation. Although I think that some of these things that my takeaway from it is, like, I already know that. Like, I already know that. And, like, one of those things is, like, there's no money in project cars. People come to me all the time asking for me, like, hey, bro, I want an engine, but can you take it in and out of my car, all that shit? I'm like, nah, absolutely not. Not. Well, I want to buy an engine from you, bro, but I need you to do the whole job. Yeah, fucking right. I still have a regular fucking day job, all right? I can't really handle more than one or two engine builds at the same time, because there's always a bunch of floater time in between. There's the times I'm working at my regular work, so I can't really touch anything. There's the time where I'm ordering parts, waiting for things to come in. There's the coronavirus, right? There's always something that makes a build last longer than it should. And that's, something I could do at work, because I don't have a big shop. I could do this at home. I have my own little pace and in somewhat comfort, So that's one thing. I can't. That's why I won't touch anybody's car. It's not profitable. It takes way too much time, way too much labor. Shit always goes wrong. And I can't have people hit me up, bro, when's my car going to be done? When's my car going to be done? No. I'll build you an engine. Do what you will with it. Take it to somebody else. I don't care. Money's not an issue. It is. It is an issue. If I want to be fair and charge you, even for like a basic engine swap, just charge $500-$600 for that. Even if I charge $1,000, it wouldn't be worthwhile. It takes way too much time, way too much effort. Always things go wrong. It's always things go wrong. I don't even like swapping my own cars. So that's one thing. And another thing is this kind of made me just really think about, like, my bubble. And I'm in a fucking bubble. I'm definitely a bubble boy when it comes to business. It's hard reaching out past your bubble. Usually, if people are coming into my bubble to do business with me, they've already made their analysis, whether somebody's recommended, which I super appreciate everybody who recommends. When somebody in fucking South Africa is telling me that they're being recommended by friends, that is tremendous. That is tremendous to come do business with me, right? I love that. Plus, if you're coming to me, you've either had recommendations or you've found me on your own and you've made your own decision and you want to do business. I don't have to convince you, right? That's the problem when I'm going out in the bigger, broader market. I got to convince people that I'm legit. I got to make all these things. If you don't already know who I am, I got to tell you who I am, and I got to convince you that me being who I am, that I know what I'm doing and all that shit. So that's what has kept me from broadening my horizons in advertising. And that's why I also always appreciate when you guys recommend and advertise for me. It's because when you're hearing good word about somebody and it's not from that person themselves, it's a little bit more believable. If I'm out there trying myself to convince people, of course people are gonna, think it's suspect. It's who you? You just you vouching for you, right? So I greatly appreciate the word of mouth. That is a lot of my business recently has come from that. It's come from people who have been long term followers or new followers, or people that have heard word of mouth, and I appreciate that so much. You guys, whatever phenomenon has taken off in the past couple of months, despite this virus situation, you guys have done a lot for me. You've renewed my focus and confidence, got my, me wanting to push forward with business. You all have me so confident right now, and hopefully this doesn't fucking end. Hopefully this wasn't just a couple of month fluke, but you got me really hoping that and praying here that I can manage to, excuse me, that I can manage to make VHP Engines a little bit more legit. Now, why this is so important, again, talking about my bubble, when people come to me, it makes it like a lot of people, say find me in software like, oh, I didn't even know you're here. I don't really see you advertised. I still don't think that I'm big enough to really make any push for advertisement, right? As far as local people go and knowing me, most people know me as somebody who buys a lot, so they just come to sell me their shit, not really coming to buy things from me, and that's okay. Again, I don't want to have to try and convince people doing local advertisement or whatnot, and especially the situation where I don't really have a shop. I mean, I have a shop, but it's tiny and it's got my own shit in it. I can't really deal with anybody else's stuff, and it's not in a place where I can take people that I can, represent. If you go there, it's a shithole. And there's no office, there's no pretty display. So that is what I'm working for. I'm working hard to try and get something with the office front and a display so you can walk into this place, look around shit, and buy stuff. And I want to have like legit shit there. I don't want to have stuff that's overpriced, it's just there for show. No, I want to be able to sell parts like that. You come into my store and you say, hey, I want that. Just like you're going to a grocery store. You go to a grocery store, you're not looking for things that look pretty. You want to pick up the fucking item and buy it and take it home. That's what I want. I want to be able to do that. So I just want to big shout out and appreciation for those of you guys that are contributing and those of you guys are telling other people. It just, you're putting me in a position where I can start to finally grow and have the hope of getting an actual place. And then once I get a little bit more of a legit spot, then I can start advertising locally. And I think at that point, the sky's the limit for VHP Engines. There's two things that are, big thing holding me back on progress. And one is time. Time is the most important thing. And then the other thing is money. I am constantly, right now, what I'm trying to do is kind of like pyramiding the cash. Like most of the money that I've brought in for VHP Engines isn't going to like paying bills or anything like that. It's going to splitting into more parts to either double up on money on sales or hopefully finishing the project. Now, I haven't fucked with the goddamn hatch in like 2 weeks, and I've sitting here thinking about why and what can I really do. Everything I can do is kind of insignificant to the whole of the project. I need to start spending money again on buying bigger things, but the things I need now are like $200 here, $200 there, and I don't feel like, because I got the SI, I need to hold back, or be careful with money so that way I don't get stuck in a bad position again like I was last year. I'm doing okay right now, and I want to make sure I maintain a certain balance in the account so that way we have no issues. But I am trying to get an engine harness. That's the first, thing that I'm trying to get on towards buying right now. Once I get the engine harness, then I'll move to the next thing, which I think will most likely be the fuel lines, and so on and so forth, and hopefully we'll get done. I'm going to save the K-Pro for last because that's the one that's really going to hurt. But I just, seeing how things are going, guys, I'm growing a lot slower than I would like to have. But, I think I was sketchy on being if I was going to be able to hit 10,000 this year, and we are not even halfway through the year yet, and we got like 9,100 subscribers. So I'm on my personal goal for YouTube is 10K. After 10K, I guess I really won't give a shit unless my subscriber growth like bursts and I can start moving up astronomically. But I just don't see that it really happening. So once I get 10K, it doesn't really matter anymore for me personally where growth goes. But I am definitely focusing on growth of the business. I want to make VHP into something legit. Hopefully, if everything keeps growing the way it is, then in the next 5 years, I could see it being like a legit spot. The way things are going right now is I'm trying to get to the point where I can take my wife out of work again. Like she's been working since since right after my daughter was born, like full time. So I would very much like to get to the point where I can just have her run parts for me. Like, as far as when it comes to buying parts for me, guys, I generally ship within 24 hours. There's been a couple of times I've shipped in 48 hours, and I generally keep in touch with people to let people know if I've fallen short of my expectations for shipping out. Because we've got the coronavirus and she's only been working like once or twice a week, she's been able to do all the parts for me, even when I have to go to work. Um, so, then it just falls back to engine builds or whatnot, and how much time that takes. Was it Jerry got me and Jerry talked, and we decided we're going to get a stock K24 redone for him. And the only thing that really held that back was one of the eBay sellers. Like, I ordered everything he needed for that short block the day we first exchanged money. And I got everything except the pistons and rods on the same day, and then that guy who was sending me the pistons and rods literally shipped the day after I'd already got everything else. So then, of course, I'm working, so I had to wait for everything to come in place and clean the block up and get it prepped, and clean the pistons when they finally showed up and get them prepped. And then the only other block right now that I'm fucked up on, that it's got me back, and it's Alfred's for the single cam Vitara build that I was gonna do. That was initially the one I talked about, complained about a month ago, with the no notch rods and whatnot. So when I froze everybody's thing for everybody's payments for the coronavirus, we had talked about getting a built head. He was gonna get a built head, and that didn't happen. And then, so when I didn't have no contact right away, so I just assumed that he was going to freeze payments as well. And then I did finally speak to him again, because I told him, I explained, I have somebody that's doing the block notching. I'm going to send out the block, because I was debating back and forth whether because I'm going to come out of pocket for it, whether I'm going to send it out to get it notched, or if I'm going to keep it in-house and do it myself. And I talked to Jesse over Nippon Racing, and he told me that the shop that is notching for him isn't going to open back up till May 1st. And so I know that's not too far away at this point, but we've already spent enough time, and Alfred's ready to move forward. So that means now I got to get to cutting. And then I was expecting to be off work tomorrow, but I was asked to come in, so that kind of shortens time. But yeah, engine builds, guys, I guess that's part of the reason why people would, that could be part of the reason why people want something that's already pre-built. But it is kind of, I'm not at that point yet, and it will happen eventually. Right now, my rule of thumb is everything is built to order, but eventually, if the money keeps coming the way it is, guys, I would like to have engine blocks that are built, and not just like a stock rebuild thing, but actually built and ready to go. The prices aren't going to change, though. They're still going to be what they are. I'm still going to be willing to finance, though. But yeah, I think I just, again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. And if you guys can continue to recommend or whatnot, that'd be great. Even if it's not for engine builds. It's because, to be honest, 100% honest, guys, I think most of my income, it's safe to say, is from parts. And generally speaking, I make most of my profit on parts too, because I double or somewhat, or always like 3/4 of what I sell is like profit when it comes to parts, as opposed to engine builds, where the bill is really big, but the net income isn't necessarily as big. Of course, guys, I'm always down to build engines for y'all if you want. Just know that you always got to account for time or whatnot. Single cams are the only thing that are really long turnaround because of the whole block notching process, but hopefully this is taken care of in the near future. Like I said, May 1st, the guy's going to open back up. And even if I don't have anybody wanting a Vitara build, I'm going to be sending out blocks. Any single cam that I get my hands on from now on, I'm just going to send it out to get notched. I'm just, regardless, because I'm not building stock single cams for anybody. So anytime I get my hands on a single cam from now on, they'll get sent out to get notched. Even if you don't want me to build you a block, you can come to me and have one pre-notched, so you ain't got to deal with that. So if anybody ever wonders, why I've always ducked on single cams and shit, that's just the reason why, because it's that extra hassle. It's just easier for me to grab an engine that all I've got to do at the most is like check the gap on rings and then assemble. It's just a much easier process. All right, I know this probably seemed like an all over the place kind of type shit, but I just wanted to talk after what I saw there. And it's not so much to, it's just, show the appreciation, because I'm still insulated in my bubble and I don't have to deal with this kind of shit right now. If people are talking shit about me on the internet, it's not about a business situation. It's always just about whether they think my opinion's stupid or whether I'm fucking boring. Or whether I curse too fucking much. So I'm happy for my small timey problems. I'm definitely not looking forward to that, because I know that eventually one day I'll probably be sitting there where somebody's attacking me. And it kind of tripped me out too, because I'm seeing some people who follow me that I've noticed, like I noticed you around on a regular, or noticed them around on a regular, and I see him popping up there, kind of like throwing a little bit of shade at Humble. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a Humble fan, and I made sure that I went through the comments to get the full context of everything. And it seems to me that the one person I will kind of point out to is a fucking douchebag on there is the guy who's, he says he's got the car now in his possession, he's building it, and it's not going to take him all this time and shit. I'm like, well, he definitely seems like a clout chaser. This guy is replying to almost everybody, and like I said, there's 1,000 fucking posts on there. And it seems to me like he's clout chasing to get his fucking name out there. And another thing I can say, I'm not saying the guy isn't good at what he does or whatnot, because I don't know who the fuck he is. But I can say that he definitely looks like he's trying to take this time to get his name out there. And also, if you're a small time dude running out, your own little small time shit, then yeah, it's easier for you to get some time devoted to a car when you don't have as much to deal with. And plus that Integra, the way it is, all-wheel drive, 700 plus horsepower, that's, for somebody like, for a shop like Humble Performance, that's a regular thing. But if you're just a regular ass fucking dude, or a small timey dude, then that's a big thing for you. So of course you'll put all your focus onto it. So that was the only thing that I could see in that shit that was aggravating. But I didn't go through all 900 or something posts, but god damn it, I skimmed with the hardcore reading, and I'd say I spent about an hour going through comments. So I got the full context, and I've already made my decisions on that or whatnot. And it's just me, I'm happy for my small growth. I don't want to take forever. Like I said, I always joke about it all the time, man. If I don't make it by 40, I'm eating a bullet. But I'm not gonna do that really. But god damn it, I have strong goals, man. And I don't know. Since I hit 30, I've realized that hey, don't be fucking around. Don't be wasting your life. If you got something you want to do, better get to it. And I have an empire I'm trying to build and leave to my family. And so, man, I gotta get cracking. All right, long term shit. I guess maybe I can throw this out. I want to do something like this, kind of like on a Friday, like once a month, do a long form video where like maybe I have a couple of small topics that I couldn't make their own video. It's like small things like this will be like 5 or 10 minutes worth of content here, 5 or 10 minutes worth of content there. Not super exciting on its own. And so I was thinking about doing like a mashup, and I stole this idea from the Weasel. He's an MMA podcaster or MMA YouTuber that does a podcast. I don't really think it's a podcast, but whatever. I guess it could be a podcast. It's just weird for you to be by yourself. I don't know. Anyway, so what he does is once a month he does a bunch of topics that are hot news and whatnot, and then he answers questions from the fans. Now, I get a lot of questions from you guys, and a lot of them I don't, necessarily want to get into because it gets drug into a longer conversation that I don't have time for. But I'm thinking maybe what I'll do once a month is I'll make a post on the community page, and you can, whatever questions you have, you can put there, and then I'll do like a little, shoot out some content, and then at the end of what I have to say, I'll go through, read the questions, and answer them as best as I can. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you think you'd be interested in. And because this video is 18 minutes long, I might make this a smaller post on itself again, because this is something I figure. And again, guys, this is an excuse for me to make content. This is just an excuse for me to be able to answer y'all's questions, even the redundant ones, even the ones that aren't like super, or the ones that are super basic, so that way everybody gets a chance to feel like they're engaged with me. Because sometimes, man, I read through my comments at the end of the week or whatnot, and I just don't have the shit in me to answer. And then sometimes I'll answer, and then some of you that I answer, they want to go further and further, and I'll just leave it. So here's a chance. Live streams don't tend to work, so maybe we can do it like this. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you all for everything you've done. I love it. I appreciate it. And thanks for being around. I know a lot of you guys have been here a long time. And Also, for those of you guys that are patrons, that's fantastic. I wanted to get to 100 patrons before doing giveaways, but I think we can do it at 20 because we're at 11 right now, and we've only had one new patron in the past month. So maybe we get up to 20 patrons, we can see about doing some kind of giveaway. Maybe not high dollar, but maybe we'll do like some like a free place giveaway where I'll give away some decals to like runner ups, and then something not super expensive, but something that maybe if you want to sell or use, like my VTech Killer rocker arms is something that I want a decent amount of money for, and they sell on a regular on eBay. I don't really sell too much to you guys, but they sell on eBay pretty frequently, not super often, but I think I've sold like 4 or 5 sets now, and I sell them for $60 a pop. So if you get a set off of me for free and you flip it or you use it, that's cool. I don't mind. All right, guys. So again, thanks for watching, and peace. See y'all next time.